Hey there, guys, it's Diana with another recap of X Factor. So, we're going to go through each person. They had two songs. Off the top, I'm going to tell you that they were supposed to sing a Pepsi song, and then yesterday, 24 hours before the live show, they were informed that somebody had screwed up, and the Pepsi Voters' Choice songs weren't going to be till next week. So, their first song was a dance song, supposedly, and their second song was one they chose themselves. They were their Save Me songs, basically, and they pulled them out of the reserves to sing tonight. So they had 24 hours to work on these songs, and they were song choices of their own, which I think is significant because the Save Me songs, or the second song choices for tonight, were much better. Note on the judges before we get into the singers. 1. Paula and Nicole, would you please shut up when other people are talking? We don't need to hear your comments on their comments. You get a turn to talk, then they get a turn to talk, and that's the way it works. You are not the judge of whether or not their comments are appropriate. The audience is. So could we please hear it? Also, Simon has, in my opinion, more class than Paul and Nicole are showing right now, because when a guy does good and it's not his contestant, he still tells them, hey, you did good. He's not out to get somebody else like those two ladies are, and they clearly are. Okay, let's get right into the dance, or the music. Melanie Amaro is first up, and she sings Someone Like You. It's dance music, and I thought she did a great job on it. Of course, I like Melanie Amaro. I'm going to be right up front and say I like her. And then her second job is There Can Be Miracles. Now, LA says it's safe, and Simon says doing a Whitney song or a Mariah song as well as Whitney and Mariah is safe on 24 hours notice. Pretty much everything Nicole and Paula say today is nothing but schmooze. I mean, it's just like sugar off the lips. Ugh. And some of it looks insincere when they're talking to other people, but it's just sugar, 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 and gag me. All right, so Melanie, I think, is great. She did her typical great job. Next, we move on to Marcus. Marcus' first song is Ain't Nobody. Dance-wise, dancers all behind him. Okay, so the thing about Marcus is he has no upper range, and someone keeps having him sing songs with an upper range, and I think to myself, stop it, for God's sakes. If you're going to insist he stays on the show forever, at least give him songs that are in his range, because when he starts hitting those higher notes, it sounds like he's screaming them out and reaching for them, and it's really bad. His second song is A Song for You. He does a really good job at that soulfully, and when he's down in the lower ranges, really good. When he gets up higher, back to ouch, ouch, I don't like that. So Marcus is those two songs. I have to say, if Marcus ends up in the bottom two again tomorrow, and Paula and Nicole save him over somebody else, they're basically just thumbing their nose at the American public at that point, because they got a crush on this boy that is, I just don't understand it. I like him. He's a nice guy, and if he sang songs down in a lower key or something, it would be better, but it's forcing it when he goes up into the higher areas. Moving on to Rachel Crow, and Rachel's first song was a Beautiful Girls kind of mix up, and I thought she did great. She was cute as a button, as always. She's, I've called her the Shirley Temple of our times. She's just, she even giggles like Shirley Temple does. Nicole and Paula are saying things to her, and she's going, hee, ah, hee, and she looks so nervous up there, like she just wants to, I don't know, she's uncomfortable, at least today, almost like they're the enemy. I'm not saying she actually thinks this, but that the judges' comments afterwards, even though they were just gushing over her, you could almost see that blade of armor up and that fake, that's cute, cool, cool, It didn't look comfortable. So Rachel's second song was Music Me. Now, I didn't particularly care for this song, but all the judges did. And I think that if the songs were reversed, the audience would have been left with a better impression of Rachel. I don't know. Now, moving on to Josh. Josh's first song was the dance song, and it was We Found Love in a Hopeless Place. I agree totally with Simon that the really, really odd choreography that was going on in the background, it, you got to go back and watch that again. Those dancers were weird, really weird. Now, that's not Josh's fault. That is Nicole's fault. And the song choice was Nicole's fault, and it didn't work, in my opinion. Josh did nothing wrong. I'm not saying Josh sounded bad. I'm saying the whole mosh of stuff was not Josh. It was just not Josh. And so to see somebody, it's almost like suddenly hearing Melanie speak in her original accent. You're like, whoa, whoa, what's that? Well, it's the same thing when I watched Josh tonight do a dance song. What was that? It's not Josh. He sounded great. Nothing wrong with Josh. It's all the crap that Nicole put around him. When he came back to sing something in his second song, oh my gosh, he knocked it out of the ballpark, and that was Josh. It was really, really good, and I'm hoping that he makes it through tomorrow. Chris Renee had, I think, one of his best nights on this show yet, because he's just not a great vocalist. He really isn't. But his first song was Live Your Life. There was a lot of hey ho in it, and I mean, it was okay. It was lots of dancing, and it wasn't bad in it by any stretch, and he didn't sound horrible during it, but it wasn't a whole lot of singing in it either. It was fun, lots of fun, but when he came back to do his own song, which I think he's going to call, I'm not even sure what the title of it is, but I think it's Where Do We Go From Here, I think. It was his own song, and I'm not sure they actually said what it was. It was really good. It was a very simple song. Very simple. Acoustic guitar, lighting, stool, no fuss around him, and simpleness, but it was the best he has looked as a musician. It highlighted his ability to play a guitar, and his ability to write music, and his ability to actually sing what he's comfortable with. He sang it just fine, and it was his stuff, and he was comfortable with it. People fell in love with him because of his first song, Homies, and, they've been having him do all these other songs, and I think he's just more comfortable doing what comes from him and his own state of mind and stuff like that. So I thought it was Chris Renee's better nights because he's just not a great vocalist. Who do I think is in trouble tomorrow? Marcus and either Rachel and Josh. It's one of those two. It's not Melanie. It's not Chris. They just have too big of fan bases. So do I think Marcus will be in trouble again? I really do. His higher range is just awful. Awful. And if you were to step away from the TV when you play it back and just listen to him as if you were listening to him on the radio, you would be like, oh, that's not very good. That's not something I would buy. It's not something I would listen to on a radio station, because there are just too many notes in there. Paula said that his overall performance is better than anyone who has a vocal superiority. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to be listening to Marcus more than I'm going to be watching Marcus. He's going to be on a CD or on a radio. I want to be able to hear something that's not painful to hear. It doesn't matter if he's having a concert or not. I'm typically not going to buy a ticket to it, not because it's Marcus, but I don't go to a lot of concerts. So I hear my music. I don't watch my music. And so, yeah, vocal superiority, it's a factor.